Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm as Prabhakar. In today's conversation with Achievers, I have a very special guest. I am in Visakhapatnam. Our special guest today is Shbdanad, and for short, Anand. A multifaceted personality, a multilinguist. He can talk, speak in fluently in Telugu, English, Hindi, and Bengali. Great orator and fantastic worldly knowledge he possesses. He did his electrical engineering from Andhra University College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam in 1971-76 batch, and worked for over 3 decades in various cities and various states. Post-retirement, at an age when every person prefers to lay back and enjoy the retirement age, he started his graduation and post-graduation in law from Andhra University College of Law, attending classes regularly. He is a staunch Radha Swami follower and teaches theology subject, comparative study of religions, first postgraduate student in theology at the Educational Institute managed by Dayalbagh Educational Institute, Visakhapatnam. Welcome, Mr. Anand. How are you doing?
Fine.
Right. Please tell us briefly about your childhood and school days. Where did you do your schooling?
Okay, though I was born in Visakhapatnam, but I was brought up in Calcutta.
Okay. From school days onwards?
Yeah, right from class 1.
Class 1, okay.
Yeah.
You did in Bengali or medium or other?
Yeah, no, it was an English medium school. I was studying in a convent school.
Oh, yeah, convent school. Okay.
St. Thomas Church School.
Okay.
But my second language was Bengali.
Oh, great. So that means you can read and write in Bengali?
I can read and write Bengali.
Oh, great.
Up to my pre-university, I studied in Calcutta.
Yeah.
I did my pre-university from Calcutta University. Then I came to Visakhapatnam and joined in the engineering college in Visakhapatnam. After completion of my electrical engineering in 1976,
okay.
I worked for some time in BHPV, the then BHPV.
Okay.
Now it is BHEL, taken over by BHEL.
Okay.
So I was in the erection and commissioning. So I was posted in Bokaro. Then I was posted in Panipat. And then Haldia in West Bengal.
Okay.
Then Bhilai.
Okay. All in the same company?
All in the same company.
Okay.
I was associated with erection and commissioning of electrical equipments in the cryogenic plants.
Okay.
That is, basically liquefaction of air.
Yeah.
So they cool down the air.
Yeah.
And at minus 80 degrees,
Yeah.
you get nitrogen. You further cool down, somewhere around minus 160, 170, you get oxygen.
Okay.
Actually, these are the two main gases which are separated in those plants.
Okay.
The nitrogen is used in fertilizer plants. I was working in Panipat, that was National Fertilizer Limited.
Oh.
So there they use the nitrogen for the ammonia or urea process. And in steel plants, as I said, I was in Bokaro, I was in Bhilai, and subsequently in Visakhapatnam steel plant also.
Okay.
But of course, Visakhapatnam steel plant, I was not with BHPV. But in Bokaro and Bhilai, it was basically I was with BHPV and working in the air separation unit, where they use the oxygen for conversion of iron to steel.
Okay.
So they have got converters where they pump or at very high compressed pressure into this molten iron.
Okay.
So the oxygen reacts with the carbon, and the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide is taken out. It comes out.
Okay.
And the iron becomes steel. So subsequently in 1980 I joined in NGEF Limited, which is a government of Karnataka undertaking.
Okay.
In fact, a prestigious unit of the government of Karnataka,
Okay.
situated in Bangalore.
What they were into?
They were actually into real electrical equipment manufacturers. So we used to make motors, transformers, similarly switchgear. Switchgear is basically, to control the power system.
Okay.
So the ordinary switch that you have in our houses also is a switchgear. You want to stop, you want to start.
Yeah.
But when you go into industrial level and where the voltages are very high, say 6.6 kV or 11 kV or even 132 kV, so you need more complex. The same switch becomes more complex.
Okay.
But the purpose is same,
Okay.
to switch off or switch on. Say for example, you have basic motor starters in our houses for pump. So this is in a bigger scale.
Okay.
And we used to make from a very wide variety, wide range, from very low range to very high range.
Okay.
Say for example, motors we used to make from half HP motors to almost 1500, 2000 HP motors. Very specialized motors. Say for example, we had a rate contract with HMT. I think many people may not be knowing of the younger age. Hindustan Mission
Yeah,
Tools.
it's very famous. The watches
Yeah,
are so popular
so-
in those days.
Exactly.
I wore watches, HMT
Yeah.
watches. Yeah.
But they were manufacturing, machines.
Okay,
See,
machines.
lathe machines, milling
yeah,
machines, and
yeah.
all those things. And we had a rate contract with them. So they use these motors for turning and all those things. See, those motors are very special because they require very low sound and very low vibration. Because when you are machining something on a lathe machine, the tolerance level itself is very low, precision. So the vibration of the motor should not add to that.
Okay.
So the vibration of the motor is very low, kept very low. Similarly, industries have a standard practice where, it is generally instructed that they should have the noise level very low. Noise pollution, as you know, creates some bigger problems, particularly loss of hearing.
Yes.
So if you are working in an atmosphere where the noise level is high, over a period of time, you will develop loss of hearing.
Yes, which of course, unfortunately, India, nobody recognizes it. It is not treated as an offense, actually, creating noise pollution.
Exactly. So similarly, I think recently you visited mines.
Yeah, mines, coal mines. Yeah.
So we supply motor for these mines.
Okay. What the function they do in the coals?
It's very special.
Okay.
See, you have got pumps in the mines to take out the
To
water and all
water,
those
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Similarly, see, you have got the elevators or lifts for particularly if it is straight lift. In some cases you have incline. There it's not much of a problem. But if it's a straight vertical tunnel, so you have to have a lift elevator where people can go up and down. So you require motors there.
Okay.
So these motors are of very special design. Because any small spark may cause a fire accident inside. So it should be totally sealed. Because in the mine, as you must be aware, that lot of gases come.
Yeah.
They are all inflammable.
Inflammable.
Any small spark
Can
be a disaster inside the mine. So such types of motors, and they are all designed by the Indian Mining School in Dhanbad.
Yeah, I know that.
Actually, that's one of its kind.
Yes, I know.
And it's I think very prestigious institute worldwide.
In fact, incidentally, I started my career in IBP, where graduate engineers from Dalwa School of Mines used to come and join IBP, the chemical division. And you talked about cryogenic,
Yeah.
IBP used to have a engineering division, used to make cryogenic containers.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
So at least words are familiar to me, though I'm a non-scientific background. So in fact, a lot of my friends are mining engineers.
Okay.
Who went on to become GMs, EDs in IBP. They're all, in fact, they also told me that it's the most prestigious mining.
Yes.
college.
I mean, I think as far as mining engineering is concerned, it stands within the first 10 worldwide. Worldwide, it stands within the first 10. Very prestigious institute. Because it requires special knowledge. You are working in an environment which is totally different from what generally people work on the land. So I joined there and I really enjoyed my working. I changed this company only because BHPV is basically a mechanical fabrication company. So an electrical engineer doesn't have any future in that company. So, and another thing that prompted me was, I was in erection and commissioning and I had to move with my family from one side to another side. And the work used to be there for hardly 1.5 years. After that, another site. So, it was difficult. See, earlier I had one kid. So, up to his second year or third year, there was not much of a problem. But then once he joins in school, what to do? So then I started looking for another opportunity break. And I got it in NGF. So I shifted there. In NGF, I was initially I joined as a service engineer. So, and I was in Calcutta, which happened to be my
hometown sort of
hometown. And I was looking after the entire eastern region. That is Orissa, Bengal, Bihar, and all the northeastern states. So I had traveled very extensively in that area because of the range of products and the variety that you have. So, in 1985, I got transferred to Visakhapatnam. That's because this again another hometown. And my parents, after retiring from Calcutta, they settled in Visakhapatnam. So, and because they were aged, so I made a request to my company. And just at that time only we got a very big order from Visakhapatnam steel plant. So we were to supply all the electricals for their rolling mill. That was around 60 crores at that time in 1982, 83.
Big account.
Big account. So then thereafter, of course, we got much more orders, totaling to about 150 crores, various substations, various electricals. And similarly, the NGF products were really class, I can tell you, and nothing to compare. For example, I will give you one more example. In steel plant, almost all steel plants, they have a ladder where the molten iron is brought from blast furnace to the steel melting shop. And this is again lifted and the liquid iron is poured into the converter. And then, they have got a lancer. That lancer is put inside the liquid and oxygen is, compressed oxygen at very high pressure is sent in so that the carbon comes out, as I told earlier. So this ladle has to be lifted and the liquid has to be poured into the converter. For that you require a crane. That's a 300-ton crane. Because the ladle weight itself is 1 ton, empty ladle. and you will have another 1.5 tons of liquid molten iron inside. So totally it will be 2.5 tons. So to be on the safer side, they normally take some 300 tons capacity crane. And you know the hook that you have, and it's called the main winch. So it lifts.
Yeah, lift the motor.
So you have a motor there. That's normally a 1000 HP motor. So we have developed that motor, and that crane is particularly developed by exhaustive in Calcutta. And we used to supply the motors for this type of crane. So the temperature there will be something around 1000, above 1000 degrees. And you have got molten iron underneath. That molten iron is around 1200 degrees centigrade. So you imagine the people, the person who is in the crane, or the equipment in the crane, how much heat it will have. And this motor is supposed to work there. So these are all very specialized things. So we had a tie-up with them. Similarly, another very unique motor we have. See, almost most of the places where it is mechanized in the sense, for example, in steel plant, the iron ore comes. There will the whole train will have some 80 to 100 wagons. Okay, these wagons are to be emptied and sent back to the railways within a specific time. Otherwise, you will have to pay demurrage. That if you are not able to return within that time, you will have to pay demurrage, and that's quite huge. Because railway also thinks commercially. In the sense, they would like to use the wagon as much as possible.
You cannot hold it somewhere.
You cannot just, one fellow cannot keep it holding for days together. For that, they have a system where the whole wagon is tilted.
Okay. At
one go. So it comes down, there will be a ditch. And from there the conveyor belt will take.
Yeah, that is what I have seen in the coal mines also. It is dumped into the vehicle at one go.
At one go.
From the this thing.
So now the wagon is put and then it is tilted. So for this tilting, you require a wagon tripler, what they call. You require a motor. Normally it will be around, that's also is around 1000 horsepower. Because you have the wagon, weight of the wagon, plus it is fully loaded with iron ore, and then you have got the tripler, wherein you fix the wagon and it turns, a turning table. If that once the wagon is turned, you can't imagine the amount of dust that comes. Very fine iron ore dust. Now the motor that is working there, it should be so tightly enclosed that dust should not go inside. Because this is iron ore dust. So if the dust goes inside, then it's conducting. Because the gap between the rotor and the stator is very small. So if there is any correction, the motor will burn. Simple. And nobody can afford to have a motor burnt. Because apart from repairing, the downtime itself is huge.
It will cost a lot.
And the consequential repercussions also becomes very big. So that way I can tell you, we used to do a lot of good work.
That's great. What you said, almost all your service, you have done on-sites in the factories, on the floor level things. So that must be a great learning experience for you compared to somebody working in the office and dealing with vapors.
Yeah, certainly. I can tell you, see, most of the steel plants have a similar layout. I know the steel plant like my palm. Because, of the type of job that I have or the equipments that I work with are used in every zone, every place. So right from their starting point to the ending point, in every zone, some or other equipment of my company used to be there.
Okay.
So that way I really enjoyed my working. And that gives an opportunity to meet a number of people. That's one big advantage.
Yes.
See, if you are confined only to, say, one place, well, you don't meet a number of people. Only those who come, you meet, that's all. And that will be repeated. But whereas the nature of job in which I was and the variety of equipments that I used to handle, that gave me an opportunity of meeting a very large number of people.
Yeah.
Actually, it was because of that experience that after retirement I thought of going from electrical engineering to social engineering.
Okay.
And that is how I joined law.
Okay.
Law is basically, you are yourself a lawyer, is nothing but social engineering. You try to make a law which is beneficial to the maximum number of people with minimum friction. That's the objective of law. So in a way you can say it's social engineering. Okay, I have never done law to start practicing or anything. It was only out of interest to know how things go about. And thereafter I switched over to, you can say in a way, spiritual engineering.
Yeah. So all parts of your life
Yeah.
has been engineering.
So from
Core engineering to
physical to social to
spiritual.
spiritual.
Great.
So then I joined and did my post-graduation in comparative study of religion, which now I happen to teach in the center in Visakhapatnam. And that's also fascinating in the sense, different thinking of different religion. Apart from that, how various people view people in the sense, say for example, what's the psychological perspective of religion? What's the social perspective of religion? Similarly, you have got a moralist perspective of religion. So various perspectives are there. Apart from the inherent beliefs of the believers, but other groups also have, religion plays a very important role in a man's life. And it influences, if not to a large extent, at least to some extent, a man's behavior in the society. So I thought this is also important. See, an individual cannot live without the society. And then how people interact within the society. There are various groups. They have various interests. Apart from groups, groups are made of individuals. So individuals again have their own personal interests. And in many occasions I have seen that individual interests clash with the group interest. But then ultimately my view is, see, an individual is a part of the society. If the society develops, I also develop because I am part of the society. So every individual should not be so particular about his individual development.
Rather than the social,
Yes.
the society development.
They should give more effort to see that the entire society develops.
Now coming to your back to your physical engineering days, I understand you met with a serious accident in your life while on the job.
Yeah.
Can you tell briefly what was that accident and how serious it was and how long it took you to recover from that accident?
See, this happened in 1981. At that time I was in NGEF.
Okay.
And we had supplied lot of equipments to Hindustan Paper Corporation,
Okay.
which was setting up 3 pulp and paper units
Okay.
in the northeastern state, where the bamboo and all, wood is available in plenty, lot of forests. So one was in Nagaon, that was near Guwahati, another was in Kachar, and another was in Nagaland in Tulu. So I used to frequently go to these places.
Okay.
Because the Hindustan Paper Corporation gave the entire contract for all electricals to us, for all the 3 plants. It's quite a huge number of equipment. See, motors, transformers, switchgear. And another important thing is, see, we supply these roller table motors. Now in a steel plant also you have got rolling mills where you roll the different sections, say flats or angles or whichever type of thing you want. Similarly, you have a roller tables in paper mill also,
Okay.
where the pulp is crushed and then it's rolled.
Yeah,
The paper is rolled.
Yes.
It rolls out and comes. So it goes through the various rollers.
Rollers means crushing machines.
It's not crushing. You have 2 rollers, and through that, when
And it
the
goes.
pulp goes,
Okay.
it becomes
It
thinner
becomes
and thinner and
finer,
thinner,
okay.
thinner.
Okay.
Then the paper starts coming out.
Okay. Okay.
So these rollers are to be turning. You require motor for that.
Okay.
It should be very accurate in the sense, otherwise paper will tear off.
Yes.
So I actually went to Nagaland. There we had given, of course, in other plants also we had given, but they had problem with one 600 horsepower motor. That's a boiler feed pump motor.
Okay.
Now in boiler, they use a special variety of water.
Okay.
You can say soft water. Otherwise what will happen is, when you heat a hard water, if you have used a immersion heater, you will observe that scales will form on that.
Okay.
Similarly, in boiler also, the tubes, inside the tubes, the scales will form.
Okay.
And then you will have to, after some time, you will have to clean it. Then it will be a big nuisance. So they use totally soft water, what you call as boiler feed water. So for that you have a pump. So that pump, actually that motor was left in the open for a couple of years. So the whole thing got jammed. So they called us, and I was a service engineer. I went to Tulu. You have to go to Jorhat, and from Jorhat it's about 5 hours journey by car to Tulu. So went there, so we opened the entire motor, dismantled, then cleaned it up, changed the bearings and all, and then we had put it on the foundation. It was not coupled with the pump. We were having actually the insulation resistance of the motor has also gone down very low. So we had given a low voltage power to heat the winding. Of course, we had put this very high watt, 1000 watt, 2000 watt bulbs to produce heat, so that the whatever moisture that has been absorbed comes out. So after doing all those things, when the insulation level improved, we again fixed the motor, and then we were taking the trial. So at the time of taking trial, the main important thing in the motor, mainly it's the bearings, which takes the load of the rotor, and it will be continuously revolving. So I was trying to listen to the sound of the bearings. So, in motor you have got two ends. One, what we call is the non-driving end, another is the driving end. So, non-driving end, actually you have the fan, cooling fan of the motor. And on the driving end you have got the shaft out, to which you couple the pump or fan or whatever it is. So I was trying to listen to the sound, putting my ear close to the motor. So I was holding the motor. Okay, having worked, the hands were all a bit greasy and all. It somehow slipped and the hand fell on the shaft. And then, the shirt sleeve got stuck up. And I was standing on one side. I was virtually lifted and thrown on the other side. Yes. Oh, it says 600 horsepower motor. After say 70.
Your hand still got stuck inside.
The moment I went that side, the hand got removed. It was free. But in the whole process, the whole thing got crushed.
But hand is still there, not cut.
No, not cut. But the
crushed.
bone got crushed virtually. It was dangling. So from there I was rushed to Jorhat. As I told you, it's about 5 hours journey.
It's a painful journey.
It was quite painful, but there was bleeding. It was bleeding, profusely bleeding. My dress all got soaked with blood.
But you were conscious.
I was conscious.
Okay.
All along I was conscious. In fact, virtually I was holding my hand. Okay, they had put a lot of cotton and all those things. Apart from that cotton, there was no other first aid. It's in a deep forest. Expecting there something also is not proper. So I was rushed to Jorhat. In Jorhat they had an Air Force hospital. So I was joined in the Air Force hospital. So there they said that the hand has to be amputated. I said, no, nothing doing. You don't ampute my hand. If you can do any other thing other than amputate, do. And they said, no, we don't have any other thing. Our decision is to amputate. So, in the meantime, the people were in touch with my office in Calcutta, the regional office in Calcutta, where I was actually posted. So, then they decided that, I should be brought back to Calcutta. So, next day they purchased the ticket and all. So, in Calcutta, I was admitted into CMRI. That's basically a hospital instituted by the Birlas. Calcutta Medical Institute, Research Institute. Very beautiful hospital. So next day the doctor came, one Dr. Agarwal. So he took us to the operation theatre. So tendons had got sheared. So they had to be attached. Plus there was another problem. The skin and flesh were all crushed. So they had to take flesh from somewhere from the body. So they took the flesh from the left thigh and the skin. But unfortunately the body didn't accept at that time. So they had to take it from the hand muscle.
Okay.
Then slowly it got recovered.
Okay.
But then it took about almost 8 to 10 weeks. Then the plaster was cut,
Okay.
and all these days, of course, I was with the cast. And then I had a short bandage. But still, from the wound, open wound, the pus was, though it was more or less 99% healed, but from 2 places this pus used to ooze.
Okay.
So I used to go for the pus culture, and depending upon the result of the pus culture, the antibiotic was prescribed. So I had to undergo the whole course, but it didn't stop. So like that it went on for almost another 3 months.
Okay.
And then it was found that there were no further antibiotics. So whatever available antibiotics were there were given.
Okay.
So then, by God's grace, a realization dawned on the doctor that maybe the body is not accepting the foreign body, that rod that has been fixed.
Okay.
So got the rod removed, and then it healed.
Okay.
So it took almost 1 year for the whole thing to be over.
So how much effect it has on your professional and personal life? Did you have any problem because of
Yes,
this?
certainly. See, the hand, the capacity of the hand has been reduced
Okay.
by, you can say, around 75 to 80%.
Okay.
So certainly it is a problem. But my company really cooperated with me.
Okay.
They had put me in positions where I need not do all this labor work.
Yeah.
But then for some time I insisted that I should continue in the service department. Because I thought that will give a moral boost to me.
Yeah.
And then the company also agreed and provided me with a mechanic.
Okay. So who can do the job?
See, I will instruct and he will do the job.
Yeah.
So that way it went on for another 1 year.
Okay.
And of course most of the time I was looking after the office work.
Okay.
In the sense, there were about 4 mechanics in the department,
Okay.
service department. So they used to attend the complaints within the guarantee period. So I used to scrutinize their reports, discuss with, if any complaint comes from the customer, discuss with the customer so that the exact problem can be identified. See, most of the times what happens, the customers are very vague in their complaint. So it becomes difficult. So if you can pinpoint or close down to the problem, then it becomes easier for the mechanic who goes there to attend. He will go prepared. Then there was an opportunity in Vizag Steel Plant. They had opened an office. As I told you, we got a very big order for supply of electricals for the. So I was transferred here. and I was here all for from 85 to 99. By
But
that
I think, unfortunately, I think because of disbursement or something like that, this company got closed, and that was a setback in your career.
yeah, it was a setback in 1991. As you know, that P.V. Narasimha Rao's Congress government came into power,
Yeah.
though it was a minority government, and Dr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister. So they started liberalizing the policies. So in this restructuring and liberalizing, the main objective was that government should withdraw from many of the activities like running companies and all those things. So the philosophy of public sector got changed. So, and in that process, of course, NGF got affected. And okay, I cannot be sure, but apparently I could see. I mean, it is not any secret. It's an open secret, you can say.
Yeah.
The company was virtually throttled, and it started making losses.
Okay.
And then it was referred to BFIR, and then gradually they closed. Of course, there were other companies who wanted to take over our manufacturing facilities, like ABB, then Kirloskar. But as you know, politics is there everywhere. So without politics, nothing moves.
Yes.
So it could not go.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, what happened? Wipro and Infosys, they wanted to establish a IT park in that. You see, NGF factory, if you may be knowing, it's spread over almost 500 acres of land.
That land must be the
It's a prime land. You see, when the company was set up in 50s, it was outside Bangalore.
Yeah.
In those days, Bangalore was only up to Alsur Lake. Beyond that, there was no Bangalore. But gradually, by 90s, during this period, you had the Indira Nagar, and then it went on further to NGF, and then beyond NGF. So the cost of land had really grown. And in that, here I would like to say, the company was started in collaboration with AEG of West Germany. I mean, such a beautiful planning. I tell you. In that 500 acres, the actual factory was on 200 acres, and they had 300 acres of forest.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, that forest was created to feed packing wood for the company.
Okay.
And then, the eye was on the land, so they wanted to give that land to Infosys and Wipro. But in the meantime, what happened, some of the people whose land was acquired at the time of building the factory, they went to the High Court saying that the land was acquired from mine, and they had given me some compensation for setting up a plant, public sector, public utility purpose. Now, how government can now sell it to some private party? It is not government's property. It's my property. So you do one thing, you return that property to me, and whatever compensation has been paid to me, I will return it to you with interest, and I will sell the land.
Okay.
So the case was going on in the court. But as you know, in politics, governments fall, governments come, and in those days, no, the governments used to last for 2 years, 3 years. Chief minister used to go, chief minister used to come, and then this whole thing was lying in limbo without moving forward. And apart from that, you know what happens in courts. It takes years together.
Yeah, of course, yes.
So then the government decided that, okay, why all these things? They told the court that we will use it for public purpose only.
Okay.
And in the meantime, the metro was sanctioned. So the metro garage was constructed there
Okay.
in that land.
Okay. So now coming to your, retirement, voluntary or forced retirement, I think after 60, when people normally retire from the active services and try to enjoy their life, you started pursuing your further studies, and that too non-related area. You first did LLB, then you did LLM, and that too attending regular classes from Andhra University, Vizag. So what made you to switch over and do LLB and LLM?
So one thing, as I told you, I had enough of this engineering affair, particularly electrical engineering. So I wanted to join in college. So after going through various options, I found that this LLB course is more suitable.
Okay.
So the basic intention of going to college was that, see, I was at that time retirement age 58, 59, 60. Obviously my friend circle all were in that age. So to people of that age, when they meet, they will be discussing only problem related to that age. But they are in that situation. So, daughter's marriage, son's job. So the issues were very common. And apart from being common, were depressing also. Okay, there may be slight variations, but by and large the issues are common, same. So I thought that I have to change the circle around me. So I wanted to have people young. So I said that, okay, I will join college and go to class every day. In fact, I had the highest attendance.
Okay.
Because I was very punctual. Every class I used to attend.
Okay.
Of course, other students, all young students were there. They have all completed their bachelors and joined in LLB. Quite young fellows in their 20s. They have different issues. And I mean, issues in the sense they don't have these problems. Domestic problems are
marriage problems, environmental problems.
Those things are not there. So they will be all discussing, cinema bounda, this film is good. They will discuss about Chiranjeevi, or they will discuss about cricket, they will discuss about hockey. So you have a different environment altogether. See, whenever you sit with them in the canteen or in the classroom, when the teacher doesn't turn up immediately after the class, you have some time. So they will be discussing all these things. Plus another big advantage which I saw, of course I had not assumed at the time of joining, this of course the students used to call me sir because of my age. But it so happened that all the faculty members were also calling me sir because almost all of them were younger than me. barring I think two of the professors. The senior most professor in the department was of my age, or the same period. So when I was doing my engineering in the engineering college, this professor was doing his law in law college. Same 71, 76. So that way I had a very good rapport with the faculty. So you had good respect, and it so happened that I had never taken down any note in my LLB. I passed the examination only by listening to what the professor had said.
Yeah, very good.
But the biggest advantage that came to me was most of the students, young age, so they were having so many doubts.
Yeah, they used to
Another big problem that came was, in LLB it is taught in English. And these people they all had Telugu background. So they were not that good in English. So they used to have so many doubts. So they used to come to me. So I used to clarify their doubts. And so, just by discussing with them or explaining them, my knowledge improved. So I didn't have to take down notes or anything. I just wrote the exam and got it.
But after putting so much of efforts in our practice in law?
No, the intention of course was not to practice, but then I had cleared my bar examination. I had gone to the court for about some time, for 6-7 months.
Okay.
But then I found the atmosphere in the court disgusting.
Okay. So you didn't continue that?
I didn't continue.
Okay, now you follow Radha Swami Dalbag.
Yeah.
And is it from your childhood, your parents are also Radha Swamis, or you converted subsequently?
My parents are from the same faith. But in this faith it is not compulsory that the child also has to become a Satsangi. It's not automatic.
Okay.
You have to have that inclination
Okay.
towards spirituality.
Okay. And what is the basic philosophy of Radha Swamis? Because for those who don't know about Radha Swamis, what is the basic philosophy of Radha Swami cult?
See, in a way, you can say it is very similar to the Sant Mat, which was started by Sant Kabir Sahib, followed by Guru Nanak Sahib. There were other saints also, like Paltu Sahib, Jagjivan Sahib. You can say it's an extension of the Hindu Bhakti movement.
Okay.
See, in the initial stages, it was the Vedic system that used to be followed.
Okay.
Subsequently, somewhere in the 1st century, the Bhakti movement started in South India with the Nayanars and Alavars, who were Shivites and Vishnavites, respectively. So earlier, the stress was more on rituals. So the only people who could read the Vedas by heart, those mantras, they only could do those rituals.
Yeah.
But then, as everything in the universe, if you see, things evolve. So the religious principles also got evolved, and this Bhakti movement started, wherein anybody can have devotion towards Lord. And if you see the hymns written by these saints in praise of the Lord, anybody can sing. A king or a prince can sing, even a shepherd can sing. Say, for example, the hymns of Annamacharya or Tyagaraja. It's a common property. Anybody can sing. And generally, if you sing those, not only those hymns, those emotions get generated in you. So when those emotions get generated in you, you get attracted towards that thing. So when you are singing something in praise of Lord, say if you are singing a hymn written by Tyagaraja, automatically a sort of devotion develops towards the deity Rama. So you get attracted towards it. So that was one way of reducing the ritualistic part of it. And then gradually this bhakti movement went from South India to Maharashtra. And from Maharashtra it went to North India. If you see the history of this bhakti movement, it was Surdas who basically was from Maharashtra. He was a Krishna devotee. And he had such great desire, towards Krishna, love for Krishna, that he wanted to visit Vrindavan, Mathura. But that was the birthplace of Lord Krishna. So he went there. And till that time, it was what you call Saguna Bhakti. That is, you have a deity, a form, and you pray the form. You pray his eyes, you pray his ears, you pray his foot, from head to toe. But then, sometime after coming to Mathura, Surdas lost his eyesight. He became blind. And then he changed over to the Nirguna Bhakti. That is, bhakti towards the God which doesn't have any attributes.
Form also.
No form, no attributes. And subsequently it was carried forward by Kabir Sahib and then Guru Nanak Sahib and then the other saints. And finally in 1827, the founder of this Rahaswami faith, what we call as Swamiji Maharaj, the name given by his parents was Shivdayal Singh. He was born. And then it started from there, and we have a Guru Parampara from then onwards. You see, earlier to that, Kabir Sahib was not having any Parampara after him. His disciple like that. Only in case of the Sikh faith, Guru Nanak Sahib had a parampara of gurus after him, up to the 10th Guru, Guru Govind Sahib. But then it stopped over there. So now the Rahaswami faith teaches more or less the same thing. That is, there is a supreme God which has manifested in the form of sound. And in our language, if we have to speak, it is Radha Swa Ami. That was the first manifestation of the sea. According to our faith, before the creation started, so Almighty was in a state of absolute self-absorption, Sunya Samadhi. In any energy field, there will be polarization. So this polarization was going on. So all the souls which had positive polarization, they were moving towards the North Pole, which you can say as the head. And all the negative souls which were having negative attributes. Not exactly negative attributes. They had a inclination to associate with matter.
Okay.
So they all came down to the negative pole or the south pole. You may take it as the foot of the Almighty. So if you see in a magnet, you have got a north pole, you have got a south pole, and in between you have got a neutral pole.
Okay.
Then at a particular time, Almighty realized that there were a lot of souls in the southern pole which are in a comatose condition. They are not aware of that Sat, Chit, Anand, Prem, Prakash, which are the attributes of the North Pole. So they should also enjoy that. So once that thought came, there was a surge from the foot of the, or you can say from the South Pole towards the North Pole. So all the souls that could reach the North Pole, they have reached there. But then a quite large number of them got stationed in between.
Okay.
So souls which are stationed in between have formed a centers of their own.
Okay.
So that is how the creational aspect has come.
Okay.
Now, but then the ultimate or the desire of Almighty was that these people should be able to enjoy that love and refulgence of the Supreme Being. So that has to happen now, that has to anyway happen. Because He is Supreme Consciousness. So those things have to take place. So then while the universe was being formed, so the whole intention behind the forming of the universe was that these souls should at some time reach to the original destination, to the North Pole, or head at some time.
Okay.
And as the creation came into being down, 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 so the people, evolution started in this planet called Earth also.
Okay.
If you know, the first life on Earth was in the form of single cell. The cell simply broke into two, then those two broke into four,
Then multiplied.
and multiplied. Then gradually you had fish. Similarly, it further evolved into species which could live in water as well as on land.
Okay.
Then the species on land developed, birds developed.
Okay.
Then ultimately the human being developed. Now this human being, once the human being developed, up to this point, the Darwin's theory is more or less, why more or less correct? It is correct. But then once the human being got evolved, nature stopped further evolution.
Okay.
It started evolving the brain of this, or intellect of the human being. So from the stage of moving in the forest stark naked and hunting, either he becomes food for some animal or that animal becomes food for him. From that stage, now we have reached to a stage where, in spite of being the weakest animal on this planet, we control all the animals. We neither have the size of an elephant, nor the strength of a lion, nor the smell of a deer, nor the hearing of the rabbit. But still we control all these animals. In fact, we started controlling nature. So the man is evolving, and as he evolves, he will realize what is the ultimate or absolute truth.
Now coming to Radha Swami's, all other things are fine, but what I feel, what I observed is that they don't believe in idol worship.
Yes.
and doing pujas, yajnas, all these vratams and nomlu, all those things. And many people convert from, being Nana Radha Swamis to Radha Swami, like your wife, after getting married to you, she got converted into Radha Swami. Before she was a normal Hindu Brahmin. Especially Brahmins do all these sort of things, pujas, nom, vratams and all those things. So why Radha Swamis don't do all these things, number one? And how difficult for people like your wife to, when they convert from being non-Radha Swami to Radha Swami?
See, you have to understand religion in its proper perspective. Further, how religion also got evolved as man in the journey of man.
Yeah.
See, the journey of man and journey of religion are intertwined, interlinked. The first man, his concept of God was something which is awe-inspiring, is God.
Yeah.
So he used to start praying. There was a fundamental question in the brain of the human being as to from where he has come and where he will go. And what is all these things around me? Okay, not everybody at that time must have been thinking, but some people with some intellect, they were thinking. See, not everybody thought of gravitational force. It was only Newton who thought of it.
Yeah.
There were crores of people living at that time. Similarly, people with some higher intellect, they were dwelling in these questions. So they said that, okay, whichever is awe-inspiring is God. Because they have not seen such big things.
Yeah.
And that is how the religion of Totoism started.
Okay.
So that was the first religion. So even now, we are carrying that baggage.
Okay.
We pray snakes, we pray
Trees
trees,
also,
we pray
stones and
what do you call mountains.
Mountains, yeah.
So these are all, baggage that we are carrying from the first form of religion, what you call as Totoism.
Okay.
So there were tribes, so each tribe had their own deity, or you call it, they used to call totem.
Okay.
So the totem is, you should not kill that totem, you should not harm this totem.
Okay.
It's a deity,
Okay.
so you should pray it. So, when you see a peacock dancing in a rain with its all the feathers open,
Yeah.
no, it's a beautiful scene.
sight, yeah.
It's a sight which you cannot forget. And it doesn't happen every now and then.
Yeah.
So, whoever might have seen it, or something, awe-inspiring, or this is God. So, peacock is God. So, that is how you see a huge mountain. Hey, such a big mountain, this must be the God. But then over a period of time, as I told you, his intellect started improving. And then he started forming. And then he realized that no, these forces of nature are more powerful. So they started praying the natural forces, the Panchbhuta, fire, air, water, earth. Like this they started praying. Because for agriculture, you need the cooperation of all these forces. You need rain at particular time. If there is excess of rain, the whole harvest is gone. Or there won't be any harvest. If there is no rain, no harvest. And air and water undisputably, is the lifeline of living.
Yeah.
Without that, man will die simply. So from that time onwards, it's one of the fundamental characteristic that I would like to have certain thing from you, suppose.
Yeah.
So what I should do? I should praise you.
Yeah.
If I praise you,
I feel happy and
you will be happy with me. So you will be giving me, you will be benevolent. And then you will give me whatever I want. So this was the thing behind actually these yajnas.
Okay. Pleasing the God.
pleasing the God. So you praise the God, and then you say, okay, I want this. So the gods used to bless you with those things. And initially it must have been only for rain and all those things, but gradually over a period of time, it extended bit too far.
Yeah.
Pillal kavalana yajna,
Yeah.
and you got to win a war, you have got a yajna.
Even no elections.
And no elections. No, that Chandrasekhar Rao, he does yajna in his farmhouse.
Yeah.
So it gets extended. In fact, the bad side of, or the negative side of this religion is basically what I would rather say the priestly class. It's not the Brahmins. I mean, okay, Brahmins could also be part of it, but not all. This priestly class, they made a business out of this religion.
Yeah.
So if it hurts you, then okay, you will try to spread all wrong things. And that what happened with most of the other saints. If you see the history, I think you must have seen the film Tukaram of
Yeah, Bhakti Tukaram.
Bhakti Tukaram.
Not only Bhakti Tukaram, everybody, Gora, Musawar is the
Yes.
great follower. They had gone
So if
through
you see,
Annamaya
if you see the Bhakti movement, most of these Bhakti saints,
they suffered.
they suffered
Ramadas.
at the hands of this priestly class. So it is their personal interest. They made a business living out of it.
Yeah.
But then there were people who really studied and stored their knowledge in their head, and not only that, they further passed it on to the next generation and all. So they were not after money or anything. They were simply in pursuit of knowledge, or improving the knowledge step by step. So what happened? These yajnas and all became very costly affair. Oh, you should have so much of area. You should call some tens and thousands of Brahmins. You should feed them. You should give dana to so many cows to these people. So the yajnas became a very costly affair. And it could be done only by the kings or all these rich zamindars and all those things. So the next step, what to do was, okay, then you can have, vratam. So you do this vratam,
You get something in return.
your desires will be fulfilled. So after some time, the vratams also became a costly affair. Then they brought down the scale further. You do know that will be enough. So, 10 మంది ఆడవాళ్ళకి నువ్వు పసుపు కుక్కం దానం చేయి సరిపోతుంది. So this is how these things came into being. Particularly these things, you see, if you see the Vedic literature, the Vedas, as it is, 80% of the Vedas is karmakanda. That is how rituals. ఈ యజ్ఞాలు ఎలా చేయాలి, ఈ గుళ్ళు ఎలా కట్టాలి, హౌ టు బిల్డ్ టెంపుల్స్. ఓన్లీ 20% ఈజ్ జ్ఞానకాండ. If you see the Vedas, you don't have the concept of moksha at that time.
Okay.
It was only at a later stage that the concept of moksha has come. So it was only in the Bhagavatam and Prasthanatraya antar to Bhagavad Gita. So it's only in Bhagavad Gita that it was dealt in a more appropriate way. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is almost the last treatise on this subject
Okay.
in the Vedic literature, if you see, because it's in the end of Mahabharata. So after that, in fact, it was before only that Veda Vyasa has compiled the Vedas, 4 Vedas and all characteristics and all those things. And he had written these Puranas and all those things.
Okay.
It was later, almost towards the end of Mahabharata, that this Bhagavad Gita came. So in that he very clearly says, if you see the Vedic period, the concept of karma or the definition of karma or classification of karma, if you say, was good karma, bad karma, nishidh karma, nicha karma.
Okay.
So there is a nicha karma which you have to do every day. There is a nishidh karma you are not supposed to do at all.
Okay.
Then in between you have got good karma, bad karma.
Choose.
If you do good karma, you go to heaven. If you do bad karma, you go to hell. That's it. You are again born. Once that fruit is enjoyed by you, you come back again. Then you do whatever you want. But then in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clarifies in much detail. See, if you do good karma, okay, you go to heaven. If you do bad karma, you go to hell. Now, if I want moksha, then what to do? See, good karma you do, good, you go to heaven. Or you may be enjoying that karma in this world itself. You will be bestowed with all the riches, with everything, all good life. But then it will go on like that. There is no end to it. So how do you come out of this cycle? So he says that you do nishkam karma. So nishkam karma, doing nishkam karma is not all that easy. Because there will always be a desire. See, without desire there will not be any action. So how you want me to do some action without having any desire? So here actually what happens is, in the Rajaswami faith, what we believe is that whatever you do on the orders of the Guru becomes nishkam karma.
Okay.
Because you don't have any motive in that. And the Guru orders things to be done which are beneficial for the entire society at large. See, you run an educational institute, you run a hospital.
That is good for the
See,
society.
for all the people, for the society, everybody. It's not only people who belong to my faith or Rajaswami faith. It's open to everybody. So, and you act in that, you work in that as a whatever place you can work at. If you are a doctor, you can work as a doctor. If you are a PhD, you can work as a professor. Or if you have got no education, you work as a peon.
Now, coming to the other aspect of it, which I sometimes very strongly feel, is that Radhaswami cult people are very, very simple and they follow a lot of austerities. That's all fine for the people who are elderly people. Of course, once we are aged, we all try to be simple and detached from the worldly things. But for a youngster, lead a austerity life or a simple life, and especially what really bothers me is that they should not get demotivated from having a hunger for success. And success means not only from the money point of view, from the point of view of reaching top positions or acquiring good qualifications and be in the race, so-called, whether it will call it a rat race or whatever race it is, a race to the top. So do you think the Radhaswami cult people are sometimes lagging behind because of lack of motivation?
In a way, yes. In a way, no. Yes, in the sense, yes, we lack motivation to run in the race.
Yeah, run in the race,
And that's because our objective is not that.
Yeah, that is, of course, yes.
As I said, my objective is to get my liberation, a liberation of my soul. I am not the body. I am the soul. The body gets destroyed here itself. So it is, when I say I, it is I, the soul. So the soul has to get liberated and reach its original abode, where you have got permanent, everlasting bliss, devoid of all pain and suffering. Why should I suffer? Actually, the ultimate objective of every human being is that. See, all your motivation, all your running about, all your actions, advertently or inadvertently, is for one thing: to increase your happiness, to reduce your suffering. If possible, remove this suffering altogether. Nobody would like to suffer. You ask any Tom, Dick and Harry, he will say, I will want to be happy. And be happy ever after. But then you have to realize that this is not the place where you can live happily ever after. Not at all possible. Because this place is subject to change. Change is permanent in this planet. Things change every second. See, here I will rather take you to one saying of Shankaracharya. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. It's a very famous quotation of Shankaracharya. What do you mean by Brahma Satyam and Jagat Mithya? Now, okay, coming to Jagat Mithya, what he says that this world is illusion. Okay? Kheench ke aaye, slap you very hard. Your tooth breaks down. It will be painful. Blood will be oozing. What is illusion in this?
It's reality.
Pain is illusion. Daant toot gaya, is that illusion?
They're all realities.
Is that real? Similarly, you see on a road a truck hits a man. Who goes over his legs. That bloody leg pachadai bleeding, crying and pain. What is illusion in that? Now what he meant is, you have to define what is truth. What is Satya? Brahma Satya ante? Satya is truth. Now what is truth? How you define truth? Truth is something which does not change with time and place. It will be like that only. It was like that yesterday. It is like this today. Tomorrow also it will be like that only. There won't be any change. If you see in this world, a small boy is born, he will be very small, he grows up, dies one day. Or in a way you can say, day before yesterday, I was not there. Yesterday I was born. Today I am there. Tomorrow I will not be there. I will be dead. Day after tomorrow, no trace of me. Then I am not truth. So everything that changes is an illusion. So what is not truth is illusion. Or in a way you can say that these are all reality. You see things, this is real. You see a snake, that is real. You are seeing me, I am real. I am seeing you, you are real. But this is not the truth. Because I go on changing. After some time I will not be there. Sometime before I was not there. So, as of now, because in front of you I am real, for me you are real. But this is not the truth. The truth is something which does not change. So that is God. He does not change. He was there before the creation like that. Even now when the creation is there, He is like that. Tomorrow morning when the creation is dissolved also, He will be like that. Because this universe or this life in this planet is going to get dissolved at some time. What we say in Hinduism as Pralay or Mahapralay. So now once my objective is fixed, so why should I pursue for some small things? Okay, even if I become king, with all my motivation, I become the Prime Minister of India like Narendra Modi. He was very motivated. He was a pracharak in RSS.
Yeah.
From the stage of pracharak, you imagine, if you see, I have seen some of the photographs of Narendra Modi sitting just, behind this Murli Manohar Joshi and all. No entity, non-entity.
Yeah. At the feet of Advani also.
Yes.
Many times.
And now he is the Prime Minister. So he had that motivation. Okay, with all this motivation, he has become the Prime Minister. He is already there for 10 years, he may be there for another 5 years. But after that, he is going to die. But that's not forever.
No.
And in between also, I don't know how many things he has suffered, what all sufferings he has undergone. Okay, because his motivation might have been so strong that he would not have bothered about all this suffering.
Yes.
But then certainly to pursue his goal or objective, he left his wife. I don't know what all struggle he might have gone for his food and all those things.
Yeah.
With wife itself, we are finding it difficult. With a cut in her hand, I find it difficult cooking myself and all. Now you imagine your wife gets sick. How many problems you face?
Yeah.
But okay, if your motivation is so strong, maybe you won't mind. Because in light of that motivation, these things may not appear so big.
Yeah. That's
But then when my objective is of the highest,
yeah.
then okay, why should I bother? Whether I become Prime Minister or not, whether I become even the king of the world, after all the world is going to end some other day.
What I feel is that, ultimately whatever one does, ultimate goal of everybody is to be happy. And you people are directly aiming for the ultimate thing rather
Yes.
than going through
Actually-
the ladder of success and all those things. Then say, okay, I want to be happy.
Yes,
So you are seeking
I want to
happiness
climb a
through-
ladder which takes me directly to
Direct to
100.
happiness.
Yes.
You teach theology in the Education Institute run by Radha Swamis in Vizag for the postgraduate students. Can you briefly explain to the people who don't know about theology what theology is actually?
Theology, basically the dictionary definition is the principles of a particular faith.
Okay.
It is mainly associated with Christianity, but then generally it can be taken to any religion.
Okay.
So every religion has their own principles, have their own philosophy. And by the way, any religion if you take has got two components. One is the philosophical component and another is the cosmological component. That is, every religion defines how the universe came into existence. See, these are the two components. Okay, there can be different of opinion about the cosmology part of it. But then the principles of most of the religions, I have studied myself to some detail the philosophy of most of the religions. They are the same. See, there are, apart from the Eastern religion, that is Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, these are the religions which have all been born in India. You have got three religions which are prevalent in the West, that is Judaism, Christianity and Islam. They all three put together are known as the Semitic religions or Abrahamic religions. The roots of all the three religions starts with Abraham. After Abraham, you see, before Abraham, there were so many tribes and each tribe had their, as I told you, that Totoism. Each tribe had their own god, own way of doing things. And then one great day God appeared to Abraham and said, you see, nothing doing. All this is a humbug. So I am the only God and you pray me, only God. And that is how the monoism started. It's one God. There is only one God. There cannot be half a dozen gods.
Okay. And this Ibrahim is supposed to be a Muslim or Hindu or
No,
without any religion.
Without any religion.
Okay.
I mean, they were praying before that, they were There were so many things, If you go through the Greek mythology, they were praying the sun, they were praying the air. There were so many angels, so many nymphs and all those things. So when it was like what we have in India, praying snakes, praying whatever, bulls, cows, whatever it is. Similarly, if you come to the Roman era, if you see, they also pray. Actually, sun was one common god among all religion. The main factor being, if you see in Hinduism, we call Pratyaksha Daivam.
Whom you can see.
See.
Yeah.
See, all the energy that we get on this bloody planet Earth is because of sun.
Yeah.
So, indisputably, he is the main source of energy. So, since he is the main source of energy, he is God. That's all. But then when God had a talk with Abraham, and they had a covenant or agreement that I will provide you with a piece of land. That is why they are now fighting in Israel.
Okay.
So that the place where Israel is there, it seems that was the place which God had given to them as per the agreement.
Okay.
So after a couple of centuries of Abraham, Moses came into that. Actually, Moses is the main leader or prophet who systemized the Judaism.
Okay.
So he wrote the first books of Judaism. And how to pray and all. I think you must have seen the movie 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Those are the 10 Commandments which he gave. These are the principles that you have to follow. Fine? If you see the 10 Commandments, what they say, you don't aspire for somebody else's property. You don't eye on somebody else's wife. You don't eye on somebody else's cattle. All these things are there. Okay? Fine. Then they had some sort of a prayer. So they had a temple also. Go to the temple and pray. Fine. After Moses, or after maybe a century and a half after Moses, now as I told you earlier, the priestly classes, they took over. And they started business out of this religion. And now when Christ came, Christ was a Jew. No, before Christ there was no Christianity. No, Christ was a Jew. And then he started telling that these Jewish priests, hey, whatever you are doing is not correct, Baba. You are very misusing the religion for your personal benefit. You are robbing the poor. See, normally what happens, who goes to God? People who are in trouble goes to God. Those who are suffering. So already that fellow is suffering. And then when he comes to you, you say you put money here, you put money there, you give a goat as sacrifice. That fellow doesn't have anything to eat. Now where the hell he will get a goat and sacrifice it and give it to you? And is God so bad that he desires a goat from somebody who doesn't have even to eat? So his preachings went against the benefits of this priestly class. So they went and complained to the Roman governor at that time. That this fellow is saying that he is the king, the son of God, he is the emperor, and all those things. And normally, all the people who sit in these high places, they are prone to all this chugli. And then he ordered this man's crucifixion. But then he realized that what he has done is wrong. And after some time he converted into Christian. And slowly, if you see, all the people in Rome, they got converted into Christianity over a period of time. It might have taken maybe 1 or 2 centuries to happen. but then they converted. Initially, if you see, there was only one church that was in Jerusalem. But then when this Christianity spread into Europe, and the seat of power being in Rome, so all the influence or power center got shifted to Rome, which was again not liked by people who are already established in this Middle East. So there they had the Orthodox Church, which even now in Eastern Europe and Russia they follow. They are Orthodox Christians. And the people who went away to Europe or other side, Western Europe and all, they became Roman Catholics because the power center was in Rome. So he became the Pope. So this is how it's the priestly class which creates the problem. They make a living out of that. And if somebody comes and tells, the same thing happened with Tukaram and other saints and all. No, when they think, you don't need a broker between you and God.
Now coming to your children, what are they doing, and do they also follow Radha Swami cult?
Yeah, all my 3 children are within the faith.
Okay, right.
Oh, it's not mandatory. Or
it's optional, one has to choose.
It cannot, there's no compulsion also.
Okay.
For example, I will tell you, my own brother was not a Satsangi.
Okay.
He didn't join the faith.
Okay.
My sister-in-law didn't join the faith.
Okay.
So they were following the Hindu way of life.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing, no force to join the faith.
Okay.
But then, coincidentally, all my 3 children are in the same faith.
That's great.
So my first son, he's in USA,
Okay.
Atlanta. He's in IT.
Okay. There also the prayers and other things, what do you call them?
Satsang.
Congregation, satsang. Satsang happens in US.
Yeah, satsang happens there.
Oh, great.
Actually, he was in Nashville, but then he shifted to Atlanta because we have a satsang center there in Atlanta.
Okay, great.
So he was finding it difficult for traveling from Nashville to Atlanta. It takes about 3.5 to 4 hours driving. It was quite tedious. So he used to, when he was in Nashville, he used to go in alternate weekends. So Saturday he used to drive, be there on Saturday night, Sunday, and Sunday evening he used to come back. So it was becoming difficult. Because every weekend going means again, you have to go for the groceries and all that. Because during the week they won't have any time.
I understand.
So it's only in the weekend that you go for marketing and all those things.
Yeah.
So one Sunday he used to put it for marketing, next Sunday for Atlanta, like that he used to manage. When it was becoming difficult.
Daughter-in-law also originally
she was not she was not in the faith.
She also.
But then she also joined the faith. See, actually we teach what you can say better worldliness. See, normally the Western faiths tend to be more worldliness. They give more importance to the worldly life. Whereas Eastern religions or Eastern philosophies, they are more unworldly. Lokamithya, but then Satsang teaches us a mix of it, a middle path. To attain your ultimate objective of liberation and getting rid of all these sorrows and unhappiness and suffering, you need not leave the world and be a stick or something. You can still live, make a living, live decently,
Okay.
And God has created all these things in the universe or in the world for us to make use and live happily.
That's it.
See, you have mangoes, you have guavas, you have got all sorts of fruit. So it's for us to eat and enjoy.
So I always personally felt you have great oratory skills and can speak on any subject at a length.
Oh, thank you.
So where did you develop this skill? First of acquiring so much of a knowledge, then putting it through so beautifully.
See, I basically have been reading the books written by our Samsat Gurus.
Okay.
So apart from the philosophical or spiritual knowledge, they contain lot of
Worldly knowledge.
worldly contemporary knowledge.
Okay.
So that is the only source of knowledge for me, either worldly or unworldly or whatever it is. And this I have been following from my childhood. Somehow I have been fascinated with it.
Okay. So from there you developed this.
Yes.
Now, lastly, you are living a very peaceful life in this beautiful colony of Dayannagar in Visakhapatnam, so near to the famous beach, Visakhapatnam beach. Now, how do you look yourself, say 5-6 years down the line? What are your plans for the next 5-6 years?
See, I have never planned anything in my life.
Okay.
I believe that not only mine, the trajectory of all the lives of all the people have already been drawn at the time of their birth. People have to follow that trajectory, whether they like it or don't like it.
No.
You must have seen the film Guide. In the opening scene, Devanand comes out of jail, and then he will be thinking where to go. He will be in two minds: one, to go back to his house, to his mother, and number two, to run away. So he takes the other path because he feels bit insulted, humiliated, going back to the mother and going back to the same place where he had been living. People will call him with different names and all. So he takes the other path, goes away. And then he was tired, falls asleep under a tree. Then one sadhu, he will be passing by, and this fellow, he will be sleeping like cozy. He was feeling cold. So that sadhu puts his shawl or something. It's all written, Ram Ram and all those things, which normally the sadhus wear, and goes away. So one Bhola comes by, and he mistakes this fellow to be a sadhu. And he asks him, Guruji, aap kahan se aaye hain? And he says that हम जब दाएं जाना चाहते थे तो काल ने हमें बाईं तरफ ढकेल दिया। जब हम बाईं तरफ जाना चाहते थे तो काल ने हमें दाएं तरफ झेल दिया। तो तंग आके हमने काल को बुला के पूछा कि क्या चाहते हो? तो काल ने कहा कि तुम अपनी मनमानी छोड़ो, मैं जहाँ ले जाना चाहता हूँ वहीं चलो। तो मैंने उससे कहा तथास्तु। तब से काल जहाँ हमें ले जाएगा हम वहीं चलेंगे। तो वो बोला कहता है सत्यवचन सत्यवचन, and he takes him to be a great sadhu. So I keep telling this story. So हमने भी वैसा ही कुछ सोच लिया, क्योंकि जब जहाँ ऊपर वाला ले जाना चाहेगा वहीं जाएंगे। वैसे ऊपर वाले ने तो डिसाइड कर ही लिया है कहाँ ले जाना चाहे। So it's a question of time.
Unfolded in
it's
own time.
तो हम अपनी मनमानी छोड़ दिया, जहाँ धार ले जाएगी वहीं चले जाएंगे.
That's a great way of ending the conversation. Thank you very much.
Oh, most welcome, sir.
So
Most
much of
welcome.
time and giving so much of insights. All the best for your life.
Thank you.
So that is the conversation with Shbdanad, Anand for short, and I always keep him in a high esteem. He is my co-brother, and we have hours and hours of conversation in person less, and lot many times over phone. And as I said that he talks so well and so measured and at a length and very very deeply philosophical and meaningful. And I really hope that this conversation will enrich you, and especially his thoughts about life and theology, and of course his professional experiences as well. And that's all for today, and I'll come with some other conversation very soon. Till that time, thank you and goodbye.